Good morning and welcome to Tuesday morning. Here it is, second day of our week together. We're going to do 7 of these. We're on to day number 2 and we're going to jump right in to meditation on the hard sayings of Jesus. We're going to focus in and we're going to get a hold of something that Jesus said that is either very direct and so laden with truth that our first response is to go, oh, he's not talking about me. That's for somebody else. Oh, we kind of find ourselves with the disciples saying, Lord, are you sure that you didn't want to sugarcoat that a little bit? There's one aspect of the hard sayings of Jesus is the directness and the essence of truth that cuts with a double-edged sword. Now, there's also sayings of Jesus that it's hard for us to understand because we're in the Western culture. We're removed from Jewish culture. We're removed from the situation of the day. And one of the good, strong principles of biblical interpretation is to understand what the people heard that were there then in that situation. And once we understand what they would have heard and how they would have perceived that properly within that context of communication, then we make the leap over into 2021 and say, now, what does that say to me here and now in my situation? So we have to confront some of these hard sayings of Jesus. These are things that people will dodge around pretty easily, or maybe even sugarcoat, or feel like it's just too blunt. And we're not alone. Peter at times seems to indicate that, and the other disciples tend to start a grumbling amongst themselves because what he has said is either so direct and cutting deep to the spirit of, down into the depths of their spirit, or it's just not politically correct. It's just not going to help keep the crowd size up and keep Jesus famous. And Jesus has this tendency and proclivity to thin the crowds out, to galvanize people around him. And when he does this, there's other people that get ticked off. Enter the scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the teachers of the law, the lawyers, and many important people in the society. He seems to, when he presents truth, he seems to cause some problems. And to this he would say, I did not come to bring peace but division. Now that is another hard saying of Jesus, and we don't want to rush ahead of ourselves and pick that from ahead. So we're going to back up and we're going to jump right into Matthew chapter 5, and we're going to cover verse number 11 and 12. Yesterday was kind of an introduction, and then we took on verse number 10. Now today, we're going to work ourselves this week through 3 hard sayings of Jesus, and they're all found in Matthew 5 in what's called the Sermon on the Mount, or the Beatitudes. And these are foundational principles of the kingdom, and Jesus takes this on at the tail end of what's called the Beatitudes when he says, Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. So this is like 3 different levels of response that people can have in a negative way against somebody who loves Jesus, somebody who supports Jesus, somebody who's connected with Jesus. And so we would like to believe that we accept Jesus as the Christ of God. We are born again. We become a fully devoted follower of Jesus the Christ, and the rest of the world would applaud and cheer and give us a thumbs up. But that's not quite what works. And in fact, they were going to be confronted with something right out of some of the most singularly religious people on the planet, and the people who were most accurate religiously. To them had been delivered the oracles of God, the tablets of Moses. I mean, they got it from God on Mount Sinai. They had gone through some miraculous deliverance. And he is speaking to a group of people, the crowds and his disciples, who are going to be confronted and have to deal with problems within their very own Jewish society. But it wasn't going to get any better moving into the Roman society and into any other society anywhere on the face of the earth. So Jesus wants to show us the positive side of the negativity. He wants to show us give us some reality check here. Blessed are you and enviable. You're in the best position a human being can be in. When people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Now, the first level here, let's think of it in intensity. So people insult you. This reminds me of middle school. Have a new pair of shoes and somebody make fun of your shoes. Or you get a new haircut, and in my day, it was just changing the bowl in the cupboard that your dad was going to use with an old pair of scissors that pulled with every clip, or pet shears. And so you got a bowl put on your head, it looked like, and trimmed around, and that shaggy hair was gone, and my son's not going to be a hippie, bless God. So, and as a result, you ride on the bus and you are subject to people insulting you and making fun of the things of your appearance that you can't change. The line of your chin, the color of your eyes, your haircut. Well, that can change, I suppose, if your parents will change it. But some of us had stubborn parents that stayed with the same bowl. So when people insult you, so that's the first level. Middle schoolers know how to do this. Elementary schoolers know how to do this. And adults know how to do this. They might be a little more sophisticated, but then they bring a personal insult. This is the ad hominem attack. Let's attack the man. We can't get at the one he represents. He's a messenger for someone else. But we can attack the messenger. This is the person that with his behavior and with his words speaks in support of Yeshua HaMashiach. And so they insult you. Here's the next level. They persecute you. They start doing things against you. They start moving things even politically against you. They want to deprive you of opportunity. They want to prevent you from getting advanced at work. They want to kind of throw you the elbow, and they begin to act a little more strongly against you and may even become a physical thing. So they start getting conspiracies together against you. They start amassing people against you. This now is a persecution. They start turning your family, other people against you. And this is the form of persecution that comes against you. And then the next level is falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. So then they make up stuff. Because you're not doing something that's illegal, unlawful, you're not doing something that's immoral, then they will set you up and they will start to say all kinds of evil against you. Because of why? Because of Jesus the Messiah. The people, the Jewish believers, the ones who accepted that Jesus is the Messiah, they went through this. They were insulted. They were called stupid. They were called Galileans. They had people work against them. They had stuff happen in their employment situations. And then if that didn't affect anything, then they would simply make stuff up. And they would do it because of Jesus. Now, if somebody's doing that because you act like a jerk, because your personality is a prickly personality, that sounds to me like a personal issue. But if they're doing it because you are a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ and you are adoring of Jesus, the Messiah, then that opens up this whole idea of persecution because of Jesus. Now, that sounds terrible. That's like the old sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. No, words will hurt you. Lies will hurt you in the sense that people will undercut you and undermine you. They'll slander you to people. Now, Jesus goes on to say, rejoice and be glad. What? I'm enduring these 3 levels of persecution and problems because of my allegiance to Jesus? He says, rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. Every word that's spoken, every whisper of falsehood, every action and activity that is undertaken against you, simply because you are a devoted follower of Jesus, the Christ of God, you can hear a ka-ching, 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 ka-ching in heaven. There's reward in heaven. It's being noticed. It's being recorded. And it's being added up. And it will translate into a reward in heaven. We have these reward charge cards that they talk about. The card that pays you back. So you buy certain things at certain stores and you get a reward back on your card. Well, this is a different system. You live for the Lord, you walk honestly and courageously for Him, and you suffer various levels, even if it's just an insult, where somebody insults you, calls you an idiot, a stupid, a mindless, blind follower of religion or whatever it is. They begin to heap this abuse on you. They have effect against your finances and your employment security. They come after you harder and harsher with every level of approach. Jesus says, this is going to be paid back to you in the heavenly kingdom. Because what's happening is, in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you, you now get to stand in the place of the prophet by living an adoring life and a submitted and devoted life to Jesus, the Christ of God. You actually stand in the position of a prophet, and you're going to receive a prophet's reward. Think about that. Receiving a prophet's reward. There is a reward. It is a great heavenly bonus. It's something that occurs in the unseen realm and into our future. So we're making an investment in our future, just like using a credit card that pays you back. As we're submitting to this, as we're working through this, as we're enduring this, there's great news. We're blessed. And we need to rejoice and be glad. Now, they got a hold of this because in the book of Acts, when they're getting persecuted and getting pushback, after the first couple of chapters, it's just victory after victory. Then the next couple chapters, things start getting intense with the pushback from the enemy. And what do? They rejoice and are glad because they were counted worthy to suffer for the name of Christ. That this had come back to them in force. Matthew 5:12 surfaces in Acts chapter 3 and onward, and they are rejoicing and are glad. They got the lesson. Now here's our challenge. We need to get this lesson. We need to realize there's going to be various levels of pushback because we're a devoted follower of Jesus. And we don't need to be fussing about it and negative about it. We need to have a joy of the Lord in our heart because we know they really don't understand. And we are standing in the place of the prophet. And we're going to receive a prophet's reward, not here and now, but then and there. And that is all that matters. Lord bless you as you think about this today. Let it become life to you, transform and change you in your spirit, and even come up in your mind, your will, and your emotions. bringing transformation in life. The Lord bless you. We'll see you tomorrow as we go on to the next part in Matthew chapter 5.